If you hear me saying that I like a person, it's because of one thing: authenticity. How do I define authenticity? The ability to see your truth and accept it. The ability to see the truth about yourself and accept it. The ability to be rational. I think people fail to be rational because of fear, or because they're protecting something, right? It's like if you're listening to a very smart person, like Jordan Peterson, for example. I saw a debate where he was debating, I think he was debating 20 atheists. He was not making sense, and he's supposed to be an intelligent person. And you're like, that's not authenticity. I don't know. I don't know how to believe that Jordan Peterson is not smart. I don't know how to not. Some people are just not authentic. There's something that they're trying to protect, so they end up not making sense. It's like if I claim to be a Christian. Let's just say I wanted to scam a bunch of Christians, and I say that I was a Christian and created a story. If you questioned me, if an intelligent person questioned me, of course I'll stop making sense. You watch my videos because I make a lot of sense. But imagine if I had to pretend to be a Christian, I'll stop making sense. But I'll be like, hey, I'm trying to scam these Christians, so let me lie to them. But that would mean that I'm not being authentic. So you listen to someone like Jordan Peterson, and you just, like, it's depressing, right? You're like, I don't know, man, like I can't believe that there are a lot of people who are like this, because it's depressing. You want truth. You see, I do believe that it's fear that's stopping people from being authentic. And I consider authenticity some form of intelligence. Because if you are able to conquer your fears, you're like, you know what? You can judge me. I don't care. This is what I think. This is how I feel. This is who I am. I'm not going to be ashamed. Or even if I'm going to be ashamed, I'm not going to be ashamed of the fact that I'm ashamed. Because this is who I am. And it needs to get to that point, like where people truly accept themselves as they are. And be like, look, this is me. I understand that maybe the world might not like me. Maybe a few people would like me. But this is who I am. Like, seriously, man, like, why? I know that we live in a society that will shame you for being the way that you are, and you find that that's how you are, right? When we were growing up, we'll get bullied by other kids for something that we can't change about ourselves. Hey, you have this weird teeth, you have this, like, that's how I am. Why are you shaming me for that? Do you get what I'm saying? We live in even these adults, I keep on telling you that adults are just big babies, really, that they've learned how to function in this society, in this cult-like society that we've created, like this cult-like society that they have created. But yeah, they will shame you for being what you are. So people are afraid to be authentic. There's this other video of this guy that I watched. He was talking about how he is. He considers himself a psychopath. Like, yeah, this is how I am. This is how I see people. This is how I manipulate people. And I'm like, at least you're being authentic. You know that this world hates psychopaths. If you're a narcissist and you make a video talking about yourself as a narcissist and what are your challenges in that, what are the challenges that you deal with, you're being authentic. They hate narcissists, right? People hate narcissists, and it's understandable. Like you accept yourself. You're like, this is because what can I do? Do you get what I'm saying? There are some things that we can't really change about ourselves. So I'm not saying if you're a narcissist and you want to be better, you shouldn't try to be better. I'm saying acknowledging your dark side, that's also a good thing. And accepting that that's how you are, that's a good thing. And you feel like you want to change, and you feel like change will be better for you, that's a good thing too. You know, you can become what you want to become. Maybe that's possible. We've seen a lot of people, you know, change in this realm. We can't say people cannot change. People can change, you know. The reason why authenticity is very important to me is because I see that a lot of people who are unable to speak the truth, or are unable to see the truth, they're unable to because they lack authenticity. Last night I was asking myself a very important question, and I was trying my best to be honest with myself. I was like, and this is a question that, you know, I think each and every person should ask themselves, especially if they feel that they have a negative view on something, right? If you dislike a person, you just feel like that person is horrible. If you dislike something, you know, just I have a very, what people would call a negative view on life, right? I keep on saying that this is a hell realm. I don't believe that we are here for a good reason. I don't believe that we are here to thrive. You know, it's most likely that there is this mysterious force that we don't quite understand, that is playing with us, and that wants us to remain in this state of consciousness so that it gets what it wants from us. Maybe that's the only way that it can survive. It's by manipulating us in so many different ways. But I don't believe that we are put here for our own good. Like, it's not about our own evolution, you know. Maybe we fell into madness, you know. It's like if you're a person who's insane, right? Everything is a mess. You don't know how to function. You don't know how to take care of yourself. You know, you're mad. So, you know, that's like, I can't think of a scenario where this is good, you know. If there's no one to blame, I would say that we are in a fallen state of consciousness, and this is still not good. We need to come out of this state, and it's not going to be easy. But I don't believe that we are here for a good reason. I believe that something that was not supposed to happen happened, and that's why we're here. So that's my view on life. But that's such a negative view, right? Because there are a lot of people who think that life is a gift. There are a lot of people who think that we're having a positive experience as a collective. There are a lot of people who are loving life. So I was asking myself this question. I was like, do I have a higher quality perspective about life, or do I have a low quality perspective about life? That was a very important question that I asked myself. And the reason why is because you can have a low quality perspective about something and not like it, not because you're right, because you have a low quality perspective about it. Like, if you watch a movie, like, for example, you watch a movie like Inception. Inception is a very complicated movie. You might watch the movie and not understand it at all and think that it's a bad movie. But is it a bad movie? No. You just don't understand it. You have a low quality perspective about the movie. So you could be here on this planet living life and hating it, not because you're right. You know, the real reason why you hate life is because you have a low quality perspective. So I was asking myself, do I have a low quality perspective about life? Or my hatred of this world comes from a higher quality perspective. Like, I'm able to see all the nuances. I'm not lying to myself. I'm not deliberately trying to be negative because maybe I didn't get what I wanted out of life and now I hate it. I'm like, yeah, you know, I wanted to be successful. I wanted to have this. On Saturday I'm turning 32. Like, yo, I wanted to have this, I wanted to have that before I reached the age of 32, but I don't have these things. So yeah, this life is unfair because there are some people who have these things and they've not worked very hard. So I hate it here. I hate this world. No, 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 no. I'm honest with myself about everything. I know that life is unfair, but that's not really my biggest issue. Those who are lucky and who end up having it all, they're lucky, they have it all. That's beautiful for them. And if they are enjoying their lives, that's good. That's not really my problem here. My problem is that there are a lot of things that are being done to humans that are actually wrong, right? That's my problem. I look at everything and be like, nah, this is a negative experience that we're having. I cannot hate the player, but I can hate the game. I can say, no, this is not the kind of game that I want to play. There are a lot of things that are wrong about, there are a lot of things that are wrong with this game. But like, hey man, people are forced to play this game without their consent. That's wrong. You're gonna tell me that that isn't wrong? Because as a collective, we have all agreed that it is wrong to do something to someone without their consent. I remember I came across a video 3 weeks ago on this channel that covers crime. So there's this guy who volunteered to work at this hospital where they take care of people who with special needs. So this guy impregnated a woman with special needs, and yeah, they ended up discovering that she was pregnant. So they had to go through the list of people who were working around the time when she got pregnant. They ended up discovering which guy impregnated her. As a collective, I'm sure we all can agree that she's not in a position to give consent. You know what I'm saying? Consent is that important. That is why, like, even if you found, people who, there are some people who have sex with a dead body, right? I think it's called necrophilia or something like that. You can't get consent. Even if that person is dead, you still can't get consent. And you know what I mean? You can't just do whatever you want with the body. If a person is in a coma, you can't just do whatever you want because you can't get consent. And I remember I gave you this perfect example. There's this story that I've read about. This guy, there was this woman who was in a coma. This guy who was working as a nurse ended up impregnating her. She could wake up from a coma and be like, you know what? I'm pregnant. I've actually wanted to have a child, and I'm not against what this guy did. I believe that we must have children in this world. Blah 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 blah. I'm gonna love my child. She could wake up and say that. But the fact that he didn't get consent, we feel as a collective that is wrong. Like what he did is wrong. You could say that, what if she likes it? What if she doesn't have a problem with it? What if the child, she ends up loving the child and the child ends up becoming a president? It's like, no, the problem is consent. So we are making people play a game that they didn't ask to play, and they're supposed to follow the rules that they didn't agree to follow, depending on where they're born. You know what I'm saying? If you're born in South Africa, at least you are allowed to drink alcohol. But let's say you're born in a Muslim country and they say, you can't even drink alcohol. That is wrong. That is immoral. And you're like, I don't think that is immoral. You think that is immoral. Don't drink, but I think it's moral. I don't have a problem with that. So I must be allowed to drink. If I break the law that I agreed not to break after drinking, then arrest me. You know what I'm saying? Arrest me. Because I will have actually broken the law for real. But if you say don't drink, drinking is bad, and I was born in a country where, yeah, they're saying that, and I don't believe that. That doesn't make any sense to me. I believe that we should have what I call like a full human experience if we want to. So if I want to know what it's like to be drunk and I want to be in that state and have fun, then I must be allowed. You shouldn't limit me because of your own limiting beliefs, I guess. You know what I'm saying? If I want to have a psychedelic experience, that's what I want. So you're supposed to play this game that you didn't agree to play, follow the rules that you didn't agree to follow, and if you don't follow these rules, you're going to be punished. You see? It doesn't matter if these rules make sense to you. If these rules do not make sense to you, it doesn't matter. And on top of everything, people ain't really allowed to be themselves, to really share their thoughts. There's some things that you can't even say. You can't be that honest. Everyone is wearing a mask because we live in a cult-like society where people can't share their true feelings. But like, hey, I can't say that. You know how many people told me that they can't share their true feelings? Because people would judge them, and you'd be like, why do we judge? Because here's the thing. There's this movie that I watched. It's called The Waking Life. It's actually a very brilliant movie. You should watch it, especially if you you believe consciousness is fundamental. You watch the movie. I like how the main character will be having deep conversations with the dream characters that they will interact with. He would have, especially after he discovered that he was dreaming and he didn't know how to wake up, he would have this deep philosophical conversation. If you like my videos, watch the movie, I'm telling you, because he'll be having these deep philosophical conversations with the dream characters, asking himself life's biggest questions. It's a very beautiful movie. We can't do that here. I mean, unless you like it, at least I have you guys. You know what I mean? I can go on Instagram and talk to y'all guys about these, like deep philosophical topics. I have you guys. I have you on WhatsApp. I have you on Facebook. Here on YouTube, I can read the comments. The Discord thing is I'm gonna bring it back. But some people don't have that. You find that when you try to have real conversations with people, you are judged, right? So you can't have real conversations with people. You gotta pretend as if life is making sense to you, even if it isn't making sense. Because why shouldn't we be asking the deepest questions? You have to understand, in the past, there are people who got killed just because they didn't believe in a religion. That's how messed up this place is. That happened. Like, I don't believe some dude died for my sins, and I'm not going to pretend as if I do, In fact, when I look at everything, it makes more sense for me to not believe that guy is good, the God that you're giving me. Like, it makes sense for me to think he's evil. I don't know how you judge things, but you not being able to see that the God that you're giving me is evil, I don't know. Because you're the one who's telling me about God. You're telling me that this guy has killed a lot of people for no reason, because maybe he has a big ego. I don't know. I don't know if it's the kind of God that I want to worship, even if I wanted to worship someone, We're like, all right, you should be locked up. You should be this, you be that. You know, like it sucks. People get sick. It pains me to see children who are sick and not getting the kind of help that they need. I mean, that should tell you something about this room, bro. Like, if a kid suffers from cancer, for an example, and there's better treatment, but it's expensive, the parents can't afford the treatment. Yeah, so that child must suffer. That's a child. The child couldn't have had money. That child was brought into... We live in a world like that, where a child can suffer and we do nothing as a collective. Like, yeah, it's up to the mother, it's up to the father, but what if they don't think? What if they didn't look at their own situation and realize that they didn't have money in the first place and wouldn't have even brought the child into this world? Because, you know, it sucks. The world is a brutal place, bro. We mustn't pretend as if this world isn't brutal. So you gotta have everything ready before you even bring a child into this world. Be like, you know what, if my child gets sick, I have this kind of money, I can help the child. If my child has special needs, it's fine, I can take them to the right school. You know what I mean? I can have the right person teach her what, you know, they need to be taught. I mean, teach them what they need to be taught. Like, it's better that way than to have a child and now the child has special needs. Now you're mad at the child, you know, mad at your own life. You know, the child is not getting the help. Like, nah, man, let's be real. Let's be honest and stop pretending that what's not okay is okay. So yeah, I had to ask myself, do I have a low quality perspective on life? That's why I feel the way that I feel. Or I have a high quality perspective on life, and a lot of people just have low quality perspective on life. Like, there are a lot of things that they're not seeing. I know people who only see things one way, bruh. They scare me. You be like, there's no way that you're unable to see this, but you realize that they don't. You're like, but this is obvious. This is obvious. This is something that every person should be able to see, but they don't see it. You're like, a child will be able to understand what I'm explaining to you right now. I do understand that, and this is something that a lot of y'all must realize, right? I've been to many different churches where I've seen people get, like, fall down when they're being prayed for, fall down, roll on the floor, and it seems fake, right? But is it? The reason why I'm telling you this is because some people don't know that brainwashing is real. Not everyone can be brainwashed, but brainwashing is real. Not everyone can be hypnotized, but hypnosis is real. Right? So realize that, yeah, you can go to a church and then they pray for you and they don't fall, and then the next person falls. Realize that they can try to brainwash you and fail, but not fail to brainwash your friend. So you find that when people grow up because they're being brainwashed every day, they end up not being able to think. Find that when you talk to an adult, you're like, damn, man. You'll be like, if I met this person when they were still a child, I would have been able to speak sense into them and they will understand me. But now they're too damn brainwashed. Like, they're gone now. You know what I mean? Like, they're gone. It's like the movie, what is the name of this movie? Get Out, the Jordan Peele movie. Same thing. It's like now something else has taken over, right? Like, yeah, they're still kind of like there, but not really in control. Like, now they're just like robots, basically. Because they've been reprogrammed. There are high quality perspectives. Perspectives that include everything. The person is not looking at things only in one way and they believe that that's it. That's the only way to look at things. Like, they are looking at everything, right? So that they can get to the final truth. I do understand that, you know, there are relative truths and the absolute truth. But let's not pretend as if there are no absolute truth. Relative truth are just truths that work for people, for different people, right? I could say that I don't believe in communism. I don't believe in capital, and I think capitalism is better than communism. It's relative truth. It's true that capitalism is better than communism. It's true that communism is better than. It just depends on how you look at things. It just depends on how you are as a person. It just depends on what you think is best for you as a person, right? So there are situations where there are no absolute truth, but absolute truth exists. Let me give you a simple example. Let's say you were in a dream. What's the absolute truth? The absolute truth is that you're in a dream, right? So the relative truth in that dream maybe will be that maybe you are wearing a black sneaker, or the sneaker look black now. It might change because it's a dream. It might change, but then when you look at it now, it's black, right? But you could argue with a dream character, and the dream character says, I don't think it's black, I think it's brown. You find that the way that you view color is different, right? Maybe your black is not their black. So that's relative to, you know what I mean? You can't just say, yeah, it's black and black is supposed to be. It's relative. It's a dream. But the absolute truth is that it is a dream. When we look at what's going on in this realm, if we had to decide whether we're having a positive experience or not, what would be the absolute truth? If we were going to be truly honest with ourselves. See, I'm not just looking at the fact that if I'm enjoying life, I'm not just looking at that, like I'm enjoying life. Like, no, chill. We are looking at everything that is going on. What would be our conclusion? That we're having a positive experience or a negative experience? If I have a job that allows me to steal, find that I'm stealing money from people, I know that what I'm doing is unfair, and it is. I shouldn't be like, nah, this is good. This is a good system. This is a perfect system just because I'm benefiting. You see? I must be able to say, hey, there are a lot of people who are suffering because of me, because I am selfish. But I still like the fact that I'm able to eat. I like the fact that I'm living in luxury. I'm liking the fact that everyone admire me. I don't have, like when I wake up in the morning, I don't have to think, where can I eat today? Where can I go today? I have enough petrol in my car. I can travel anywhere. I can pay to sleep anywhere. I'm good. I'm set. But that shouldn't blind me. I mustn't be like, what I'm doing is actually fair. I mustn't lie to myself. So the problem with most humans is that they lie to themselves. You find that the truth is very obvious. We know, like, I mean, people do say this all the time, that life isn't fair. But they pretend as if it's a gift. It's like, what kind of gift is not fair? Like, people know, but they lie to themselves so much that it sucks. You're like, come on, man, let's be intellectually honest, you know? That doesn't mean that we're not going to try to make things better for ourselves. That doesn't mean that we're just going to wake up and cry every day. But let's be honest about the reality of the world that we've found ourselves in. Because we have found ourselves having this kind of experience. It is the truth. So yeah, I did ask myself, do I have a low quality perspective about life, and that is why I feel the way that I feel? Because I know that it's possible to have a low quality perspective about something and you end up feeling bad about it. It is very possible. It's something that I've seen happen too many times. But it's also possible to be right even when you have a negative perspective about something, right? You see, what I've realized about humans in this world is that they think that if you have a negative perspective about something, you have a broken view, right? If you, like, for an example, let's say you grew up in a place where everyone believes in Christianity and you don't believe in Christianity. You're like, I don't believe. They think you need help. They think they must pray for you, right? You need help. Something is wrong with you. You got demons. Like, that's what they believe. Like, you got demons, or the devil is deceiving you. You are evil. You need to have some faith. But they believe that something's wrong with you. They don't think, hey, maybe this guy has a higher quality perspective about the religion that we believe in. It's possible that's why he doesn't like it. You see? That's why I tell you that this world is cult-like. If you say, I don't like this place, I think there's something wrong with this place, what is everyone going to say? You are depressed. You have mental issues. You must learn to appreciate the small things. You're like, I don't appreciate nothing. I don't. Yeah, something's wrong with you. They're going to try to gaslight you and make you think that there's something wrong with you just because you don't. It's like, nah, man, it's true that there are a lot of things that I just don't like. Maybe I'm not from here. Maybe you belong here. I mean, it's possible. You like a place where you belong. If I don't like soccer, I don't like soccer. People shouldn't diagnose me with a mental illness. But you must pay attention to how they kick the ball. If you don't like it, maybe we should give you these pills and you're gonna start to like it. And I just don't like it. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with me. It doesn't mean that I should be judged. It doesn't mean that I need help. Maybe I'm a game changer. Maybe I came here to make this world better. And to make something better, there must be something that you don't like about it. Or there must be something that you feel like can be improved. But we went from cassettes to DVDs. How? From cassettes to DVDs and CDs. Wow. Someone realized that, okay, the cassettes are too damn big. It's not easy to fast forward. It's not easy to skip to your favorite part. With CDs, you can do that. CDs are much smaller, so you can, carry them wherever easily. You're not going to have a shelf full of these big cassettes. It's just going to be these small CDs. It's easier to make copies. It's much easier to make copies. It doesn't take time. With cassettes, it takes time. So then they noticed what they didn't like about cassettes and like, okay, here's how we can improve. Someone noticed what they didn't like about CDs and like, what about USBs? What about USBs? And they're like, yo, this small thing that it's like a stick, you can load a lot of movies. Not just one movie, like a lot. SD cards. But someone noticed what they didn't like about something and then they improved it. So we cannot pretend as if this is good even if we don't feel like it is. There is something that is telling us that it isn't. Most of us know that we might lie to ourselves, because society gaslights us and we're afraid to be ourselves, we're afraid to be authentic. And like I was telling you, that authenticity to me, like, is everything. I'm not expecting a person to be perfect. I know that you can't be perfect here, but I expect you to be authentic. One thing I like about Charles Manson was authenticity. There are a lot of people who have not done what he did, but they're not authentic. So, should I not watch his interviews because of what he did? So he's authentic. So if you listen to R. Kelly's music, R. Kelly's music is beautiful. We mustn't pretend as if he didn't make beautiful music. He did what he did, but he also made beautiful music, so we like the music. We like that part of him. So it's not about being perfect, it's about being real. It's about being authentic. There's a reason why a lot of, and this is something that society never quite understood. You find that a lot of women like psychopaths, right? Like, this guy did this, did that. Why do women? You find that when you watch his interviews, dude is honest, right? He's just himself. You see, the ones that we end up liking for real are the ones who are themselves, who are not afraid to be themselves. Are not afraid to say, hey, this is what I did and it's why I did it, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's good to be a psycho, but if a psycho can be authentic, why can't a lot of people be authentic? Because a lot of you ain't messed up. You can actually be honest and still function very well in society. But I still do understand that it's not easy to be authentic in this realm because of what people who were authentic went through in the past and what they go through now. If you're a celebrity, there are some things you can't say. There's some celebrities that seem almost too perfect because they know what they cannot say. But the people who like them won't like them for them. Because they're not real. So they want to like them because they think these people are perfect. But you find that when you meet them in real life, they're not. There are a lot of people that you know that you think are perfect. And if you met them in real life, you'll be surprised. You see? I don't trust people who try to be too damn perfect, right? Like people who seem too perfect, I don't trust them. There's something that they're definitely hiding because no one is. No one is perfect. So it scares me that there are some perspectives that you're not supposed to have in this realm. When people criticizing cult leaders, I tell them that look at your own life. Don't you feel like you are in a cult? It's just a bigger cult. You are told what to believe, what to think, what to say, what not to say, what's right, what's wrong, how to act, what to wear. Are you telling me that you're not in a cult? This is a very big cult. It's not easy to control everyone, In cults that are smaller, it's very easy to control everyone. So it doesn't seem like a cult because it's big. So and to control everyone, they must use different tactics, that are going to be effective, because it's harder to control like millions of people, but it's easier to control 100 people, 500 people. If someone does something that the cult leader does not agree with, it's easy to identify them. But if it's billions of people, like, it's not easy to identify, or it's not easy to identify, people who are doing something that the cult leaders do not agree with. It's not easy, but I think it's becoming easier now. The rise of technology, you can see that it's becoming much easier now. I do think it will actually get to a point where if you do something that the cult leaders do not agree with, they'll be able to figure that out. Like they will have the kind of technology that will figure that out on its own. Maybe via text. Maybe they'll even have technology that can read your mind. Who knows? So to get to a point where it's much easier to identify those who are a threat to this, the system. I think that's where we're headed as a society now, and I don't think there's going back. But we still shouldn't be afraid to be real, because we fell into this trap because we were trying to be too perfect. They told us that certain things were wrong, and we tried to be perfect. Things that are not really wrong. There's something that I was telling this other Christian the other day. I was like, what I've realized about Christianity is that if something is weird, they feel that it's wrong, and you find that it isn't. Like, for example, if someone has a tattoo, you discuss it, but so you can say that it's wrong and God doesn't like that. But you're like, as a human, bro, they're trying to express themselves the way that they want to express themselves. What's actually wrong about that? Someone is playing rap music. Hey, rap music is this. Like, what's wrong with rap music? Someone cares. Like, that's wrong, bro. What's wrong? You know what I mean? Not everyone freaks out when someone say a curse word. Not everyone freaks out. So they just find something that is weird. A dance move can be weird. Like, the way Chris Brown dances, when you do this, it means this and that. It's, you know what I mean? They just find things that are weird, and then they turn them into sins. I saw this other video where this lady was saying, you shouldn't give your boyfriend a blowjob because that's evil. It's like, yeah, it's something that maybe we kind of like ashamed of. You know what I mean? Like, women would be ashamed to say that they give their boyfriend blowjobs. It's just, but it doesn't mean that it's a sin. Anal sex, but then it doesn't mean that it's a sin. It doesn't mean that it's wrong. It's two people giving themselves pleasure the way that they want to give themselves pleasure. That's a good thing in a hell room, right? So they make you think that things that are not even wrong are wrong, and that's how they're able to control you. They don't make you realize what is actually wrong, like the things that are actually wrong, the things that are causing suffering in the world. They make you think that these things are just normal. So you focus on the wrong things. You focus on the wrong things, and you believe that you're right. So people don't end up realizing that, no, they're in a cult. In a cult, they can tell you that it is wrong to speak in English, and you believe that. In a cult, they can tell you that it's wrong to walk like this, you must crawl, and you believe that. In a cult, they can tell you that it's wrong to masturbate, and you believe that. In a cult, they can make you believe that you must cut your dick off, right? Because having a penis is wrong. They can make you believe that, and you believe that. You must cut one. I think I saw a video about this tribe. I'm not really sure. I haven't done my research on that tribe, but they say they believe that if you love a woman, you must cut your hand or both of them. I don't really remember. Like, they believe, you know what I mean? There are a lot of things that you believe that ain't actually wrong, but you because of indoctrination, because of the brainwashing that has been going on since you were young, you believe these things that make zero sense. Ever wondered why some cultures, believe things that you feel are weird? And if they looked at you, they would feel the same about you, right? There's this movie, Mr. Bone, especially I've seen this on the second Mr. Bone. It's a South African movie. It's dope. Like, there will be a lot of things that we do that, like, there's these guys who came from the past who were doing things a certain way, so they came into the future and found things the way that they are now, and they just felt like it was ridiculous the way that we do things. So it's crazy that we are unable to see it if we're being brainwashed, right? I often tell people that a lot of y'all who criticizing other cultures, if you were born in those cultures, you wouldn't be criticizing them. You will actually be criticizing other cultures. It's like you're unable to see the truth. You are easy to brainwash. But some people are not easy to brainwash. So these are the kind of people who value truth, who end up valuing truth. These are the people who end up realizing what is right, what is fair, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. Because they are not easy to brainwash. They're not going to like someone because they were programmed to like them. Believe in something because they were programmed to believe in it. Because that would mean that they can believe in anything because they're programmable. But if you are so damn authentic that truth matters to you that much, what ends up happening is that you see the truth no matter how much lies you're being told. You're like, nah, I understand that this is what you're saying, but there's something about it that's a bit fishy. There is something about it that doesn't seem true. So you end up figuring out what truly makes sense. Not everyone can do that. That is why I say authenticity is a form of intelligence. Because not everyone can be authentic. Not everyone can be real. Not everyone can see the truth because of fear. But some people are just delusional, But it's even being delusional also have to do with fear. There's a lot of people who are trying to survive. They focus more on survival than and the reason why they focus more on survival is because of fear. Like, I'm not going to get what I want if I'm going to believe this, I remember there's this quote, I'm just going to paraphrase. It's hard to make a man believe in something if his salary depends on him not believing in it, right? It's like, yeah, I'm afraid that I'm going to stop making money if I believe this. Do you think that a pastor who's making money, if they reach the realization that what they're teaching people is nonsense, do you think that they would be like, okay, let me stop? Like, it's rare. I mean, yes, there are some pastors who have realized how things work and who have stopped, but it's usually pastors who are not even successful. If a pastor is like making real money, getting all their needs met, teaching people nonsense, why will they even question if what they're teaching people is nonsense? They don't even care. You see, people tend to care when things are not working out. That's when they start to question a lot of things. That's when people start to question their beliefs. It's when things are not working out. When things are working out, they don't even question anything, because things are working out. What people care about is survival. But there are people who actually care about the truth. Like, hi, but what you're saying doesn't make sense. Like, there are people who actually care about the truth, but like, for real. You find that even if it means that this person is gonna lose something, they still, like, they care about truth so much. Like, they feel satisfied when they realize what the truth is, right? They naturally feel satisfied when they realize what the truth is. But not everyone is satisfied when they realize what the truth is. So they end up focusing more on survival. Like, yeah, why should I care about the truth if I can survive by not believing the truth?